Is the meeting running late?
Is the meeting over?
And that one's starting.
What?
All right, everybody, good morning. I'd like to get this started. I hope you all are having a nice morning and had a profitable Forest Preserve meeting. We do have some snow coming up, which I'm sure you're all aware of, and I wish you safety tomorrow. Make sure that you take care if you're shoveling and be safe on the roads. I expect that we're going to have a fun snowstorm. So if you have grandchildren or children, go out and make a couple of snowmen. I think you'll enjoy that. I haven't done that for a while, or at least throw snowballs at your loved ones, which is always a good time. So it is 10:48, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Okay. Ellen. Arroyo.
Here.
Bates.
Here.
Berman.
Berman's here.
All right. Doherty.
Doherty here.
Garcia.
Garcia here.
Ripe.
Ripe here.
Gums.
Thumbs here.
Iqbal.
Iqbal present.
Chuby.
Juby here.
Tyus.
Vice President.
Leonard.
Leonard here.
Lewis.
Here.
Linder. Molina.
Molina present.
Genesis.
Here.
Roth.
Up here.
Sanchez.
Sanchez present.
Strathman.
Here.
Surgis. Tarver.
Tarver's here.
Tepe.
Happy here.
Williams.
Williams here.
Young. Madam Chair,
I'm
you're here and you have a quorum.
And who's attending online?
Mr. Berman and Mr. Doherty for now.
All righty. Do I have your permission to bring these two gentlemen online?
Yes.
Yes. Welcome, gentlemen. Okay, and fully
Thank you.
participate.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Dale. And Mr. Doherty, nice to see you as well.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Caius, where are you? Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
The
flag
flag of the United States of America.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready for the
Still have the
invocation?
floor? Yeah, I do. This morning, my message today is excerpted from Carl Sagan's book, Pale Blue Dot, which was inspired by an image taken at Sagan's suggestion by Voyager 1 on 14 February 1990 as the Voyager spacecraft was departing our planetary neighborhood for the fringes of the solar system. It turned around for one last look at its home planet, which would be Earth. So I don't have a pointer, but you can see that ray of light that goes up there, that little bitty teeny tiny 1.12 pixels on the screen. That one right there. That is Earth. Voyager was about 4 billion miles away from Earth when it captured this portrait of our world, caught in the center of a scattered rays of the sun. Earth appears as the tiny point of light, again, 0.12 pixel in size. I guess I should have said that my excerpt this morning is about perspective. And here's my paraphrasing of Dr. Sagan's reflection on the photo and our place in the cosmos. Astronomy can be a humbling and character-building experience. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every politician, honest or corrupt, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint, every sinner in the history of our species has lived here on a mote of dust suspended, as in this picture, in a sunbeam. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph, they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of that dot. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me and to Dr. Sagan, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with each other and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot that you see on the screen, the only home we have ever known. Thank you.
Very nice. Very, very nice. That it happened, this picture happened on Valentine's Day. A great love of the world. Very nice. All right. With that, may I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of January 14th, 2025?
Madam Chair, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent of the approval of the minutes from January 14th, 2025.
Very good. Do I have unanimous consent from this board? Yes, they are approved. Thank you. We have several speakers today. Both one of our board members will be speaking as well as our treasurer. Each one will be allowed 3 minutes, and needless to say, for those of you who have spoken before, the statements and remarks on conduct may not become disruptive or you will be stopped. Anything that may cause a disturbance or be offensive to people, we will ask you to change your tone of voice and your attitude of speech. So the very first speaker, I've invited Mr. Young to come up to the podium. Mr. Young.
David Young. I just wanted to bring up the Trust Act to everybody. It's something that's been brought up here before, about a year ago. Madam Chair brought that up, but in the first paragraph of the Trust Act, I think everybody should go ahead and read it. It's on the ilga.gov website. It states, this act shall not be construed to prohibit or restrict any entity from sending information regarding the citizenship or immigration status of any individual under sections 1373 and 1644 of Title 8 of the United States Code. Further, nothing in this act shall prevent a law enforcement officer from contacting another law enforcement agency. Now, it mentions it's 1644. The key points of 1644 in Title 8 is it's to allow open communication between state and local government agencies and immigration authorities regarding an individual's immigration status. No state or local law can restrict this communication. The Trust Act does not preclude a state law enforcement official from cooperating with other federal agencies, including ICE and the Homeland Security investigation. So does this mean that the Kane County authorities, the sheriff, can cooperate with the federal agencies? I'm not sure, because later in the Trust Act, it states that law enforcement cannot participate, support, or assist in any capacity with an immigration agent's enforcement operations unless presented with a federal criminal warrant. So this totally contradicts what was said in the first paragraph of that Trust Act. So I don't know, but ironically, last week, Attorney General Pam Bondi filed a lawsuit against Illinois and Chicago that actually challenges the Trust Act. From the lawsuit last week, the Supremacy Clause prohibits Illinois, Chicago, Cook County, and their officials from obstructing the federal government's ability to enforce laws that Congress has enacted or to take actions entrusted to it by the Constitution. Therefore, maybe the Trust Act will be found invalid. I don't know. We'll find out. It just started, but wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. You should go ahead and read this Trust Act and see what it's all about, because it's going to probably come to a head in the Supreme Court. Governor Pritzker actually supports deportations. Quote, he says, when we're talking about violent criminals who've been convicted and who are undocumented, we don't want them in our state. We hope they get deported. And if that's who they're picking up, we're all for it. So that's good. He's looking for the bad people. Thank you.
I would like to bring up, to not have him sit any longer. Mr. Lawson, could you come up and do your presentation, please? And I believe you have a PowerPoint that you'd like to share with us. Claire, could you put that up? And sir, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. So before I start, thank you, Blair. And I also have a stopwatch to stay within the 3 minutes allotted. Okay.
Ready?
Yes. So I've always thought that the boards and the chairman's function was to set and is to set high performance standards, then meet and maintain them. children are evaluated by their conduct and intentions. I think adults are evaluated by the results. It's not enough to make excuses, but I really, really tried. So here are 4 major 2-year results from the Treasury Department on behalf of our mutual constituents. So $3 billion in property taxes collected across 2 years, $38 million of interest income earned, best in class operating bank, 1.3 million across 2 years in fees saved. And then our competent staff has been strengthened. Next slide. This is just a comparison 2 years by month of what was projected, promised, and actual performance. Next slide. Next slide. This one is superior performance against benchmarks. You look at the left-hand side, we were below benchmarks. On the right-hand side, we're now above benchmarks. And that means real money. It's approximately $4 million a year in net effect. Next slide. Unfortunately, the board was getting a sandbag when I think about it, that the projection in the budget in 2022 was about 1.8 million when you were already earning about 5.8 million. But then during the period of time that's the last 2 years, you've received another $27 million of interest income. Eventually, I think everybody, all of us, will realize that our constituents will ask, what did you do with that windfall $27 million? Where did it go? Our answer, as I've heard it in the past at Kane County, is that, well, it's spread out in this bookkeeping entry among 25 or 250 and 300 funds. But then the constituents are going to ask, but what did they do with that money? Next slide. We need to avoid the distractions. I understand that the current thought is that the Treasury is not doing enough to help the county and its accounting department. I think that we all should concentrate on our statutory responsibilities. The Treasury collects and manages money and then shares documentation 100%. That's what the next slides are, but won't get to that. And then accounting does the bookkeeping, including bank recs and journal entries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. The next speaker is Jim Whittington. Jim, I just saw you come in. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. On my way over here, I was thinking, I'm a 46-year homeowner and a resident here. I was thinking, geez, in that 46 years, I easily have paid over $500,000 between real estate taxes, sales taxes, gas taxes, all that stuff. And collectively in this room is probably tens of millions of dollars that we've all contributed to the county. So anytime I hear about, oh, let's pass another little tax, and it's just a few little pennies on a few dollars, and I'm thinking, wow, what could a financial advisor that helped me, if they had invested that money, what would I be today? So, in the last month, the whole nation's been captivated by President Trump and the Department of Governmental Efficiency. And I really think we need one at the Kane County level. I went on your website and it took me 3 pages to print out all the committees, subcommittees, boards, commissions. There's 15 standing committees. There's 47 ad hoc public info, miscellaneous subcommittees. There's another 16 commissions and boards. There's 78 of those. And I think, it's resulted in a lot of excessive bureaucracy and an administrative bloat. There's overlapping responsibilities and unclear jurisdictions. I'll give you an example. The Finance and Budget Committee and the executive committee both deal with budget matters. Then you've got the jobs and county development committees, and they both deal with economic development. Seems to me you could consolidate a lot of this stuff. You know, imagine all the extra administrative support you need to create these meetings, to clean the rooms, to create the minutes, all that stuff, okay? And I think there's a lot of weak coordination between the committees. And really, in the end, the bottom line is there's been a big disconnect from the real needs of the community and a lack of tangible outcomes for the residents here. I think there's also been a lot of absence of accountability and transparency. So there seems to me there's a lot of meetings for meeting's sake, a lot of busy work. So really, in conclusion, I think the Kane County Board's expansive committee structure has undermined its efficiency, contributed to unnecessary duplication, and frustrated residents who expect results. Streamlining these committees and ensuring that they are more targeted towards solving concrete problems could help refocus county governments on delivering real value to the community. So we elected you to, as the saying goes, do your job. Your job is to be wise financial stewards. It's an easy thing to propose a tax. It's the hard work of going through and getting rid of all the waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whittington. Susan Webb Kimmick.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Susan Webb-Quebec. I'm a resident of St. Charles. On the same subject, and I have to say, I do agree with the gentleman that more efficiency, and I think at every level of government, I think we have way, way too many. But when it comes to the tax increase, you know, one of the things that we love about living here is that we want a safe and secure area to live. We think that, my husband and I think that this seems like a fair and equitable way to spread that burden. Going 14 years without an increase seems unreasonable for any organization. Yes, agreed, there can be streamlining, but 14 years without an increase seems unreasonable for any organization or person. Personally, we think it's a small price to pay for living in a beautiful, safe community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next speaker will be Brian Anderson. Mr. Anderson, are you here?
Good morning, Brian Anderson, Sugar Grove, Illinois. Before we get started, just to the fine citizen in back of me, I would encourage any citizen that wants to write a check of $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to the tax department here in Kane County, feel free to do so. So let me take everybody back to February 5th executive board meeting. I spoke with all the chairs of the executives. So I'm glad everybody's here today for the full countywide. Let me now take you back to January 29th, one of the finance committees, one of the fine Democrat board members, that board member said, we need to take a pause. We need to stop what we're about ready to vote on, which is referendum 25069. It's getting into a strategic planning services contract with Barry Dunn. It's $127,500. But here's my caution. It was discovered that they are embroiled in a $7.2 million lawsuit. So I think that when the original committee, you had 9 RFPs to choose from. You chose Dunbarry. You did not ask the questions which at the last executive board meeting, several board members on both sides of the aisle said, yeah, we need to probably start asking those questions if we're doing any business with anybody. Are there any issues? So let me let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. $7.25 million lawsuit against a company that on today's resolution 25069, you're considering. I would encourage the board to go back and review the other 8 RFPs. I would encourage the board to take a look and go, why do we need a strategic planning services company anyway? Okay. And I'm going to save you $127,000. It's your job to review each and every department, scour each and every line, decide what we need to spend and what we don't. I'd encourage each and every one of you to come up with a freeze plan. We're not going to spend any money on anything until we get our house in line. This is a very important job that each and every one of you have. And it's not about spending money. It's about being financially frugal. And you'd be sending a very, very poor message to the people of Kane County if you want to vote on doing business with a company that's embroiled in a $7.5 million lawsuit. Okay? Have a great day. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Wilma Van Aragon. Wilma?
Good morning. My name is Wilma Van Aragon, and I live in Batavia. I am here to thank the board for voting yes on the proclamation last month, which acknowledged that there are children and families living in poverty in Kane County. Within that context, one of the board members gave us a Google research lesson on socialism and communism. I am a retired school nurse, having had a wonderful and rewarding career in the Tri-Cities. A huge part of my role was assisting families living in or close to poverty level or struggling to make ends meet, usually through no fault of their own, to access services from the Kane County Health Department, food banks, Tri-City Family Partnership, Lazarus House, and Tri-City Family Services, just to name a few. These were life-saving and family-saving services for my clients. The same board member said that his research showed that there were only 8% of Kane County families living in poverty. When a human face is put on that 8%, this is too high and unacceptable. When I access services for my families, I never thought of it as socialism or communism. I thought of it as a decent, civilized society and humane society, taking care of each other, especially our more vulnerable neighbors. Again, thank you, Kane County Board, for your proclamation and for your continued support for these services.
Thank you. Is Mark Adamant here? Is he online? No. And the last speaker we have today is Deb Fisher.
Greetings, Madam Chair and members of the Kane County Board. Thank you all for all of your hard work. My name is Deb Fisher, and my husband and I moved to Aurora 8.5 years ago in retirement to live near our daughter and her family. Now, I just told you 2 things about myself. I'm retired and I live in Aurora. With a show of hands, please tell me what you immediately thought. Did you immediately think, oh, she must have money? Not raising your hand was the correct response. We are comfortable, but never in our 50 years of marriage would any of us accuse us of having money. So implicit in 2 of our previous speakers is they don't like paying more taxes. And I agree. I don't like paying more taxes. However, I disagree on 2 points. The first is, thanks to the education I received from Michelle Gums and Mavis Bates, I understand how this proposed tax will be used. The proceeds from this proposed sales tax will go towards public safety in Kane County. This includes the sheriff's office, the courts, the state's attorney's office, 911, the Office of Emergency Management. These are the people who keep us safe. They keep our children safe. They bring us enhanced community services, specialty courts, mental health services, and opioid prevention. There is not one thing on this list which makes me think, well, we could get along without that. The second way I disagree is that I am willing to pay my fair share to ensure public safety. My dad had a lot of sayings he used to pronounce to instill values in my brother and me. And so those statements ring in my ears today because he said them so often. And one of them was, you get what you pay for. He was teaching me to look for quality rather than quantity. You get what you pay for. I'm going to vote yes on April 1st for this tax question. It's not because I'm looking forward to paying more taxes, because I'm not, but I want to do my fair share. I know we get what we pay for, and paying for public safety is a priority. Thank you.
Mark
Mark,
Davies.
Mark Adaman, you are here. Could you, are you off mute?
I think I'm off mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay, Mark. And could we pull Mark up full screen, please?
Hello, my name is Mark Adamian. I'm from Elburn, Illinois. I have questions and concerns about the benediction, or it should be termed invocation at the beginning, because a benediction is a religious term. So I noticed that we did that today, and I appreciate that, because there's 4,000 different religions out there. I have a master's degree in public administration, so I understand where you guys sit in a lot of different areas. Budgeting is based off of incrementalism. So if you look at your budgeting, and I've said this time and time again, if you were looking at the budget from 2007 and bringing it out to today based off of incrementalism, you're probably in line. Now, I understand also, based off of budgeting in the public sector, it's use it or lose it. So it's really important that people don't have a misunderstanding of where the government stands. Costs go up for your police, fire, road work, all these different social services that you need. And that's socialism. And there's a big misunderstanding of the United States, where we are misunderstanding our capitalism versus our economic systems. Our economic system is a mixed economy where we have socialism, communism, capitalism. And if you don't think we have communism here, it's called an oligopoly, and that's your cable companies, your water, your gas, and those services out there. That's communism. But it's called an oligopoly here because there is your cable company over a certain geographic area. So understanding that is very important. As far as your taxes go, you have to understand that what you're paying for is your schools and making sure that it's a safe environment to grow up. Because if you don't, nobody's going to buy a house here, and nobody is going to want to live in your area. So that's so important. So I would say, more than not, you probably need a forensic accountant out here to look at everything, because you have government officials who believe in something called sovereign immunity, that they are immune from prosecution. But that's not entirely true, because gross negligence will go ahead and pierce that immunity. Police have something called qualified immunity that will also be pierced with gross negligence. I have a master's degree in this stuff. Understanding where your government is and how they have to respond to you about being responsible with funds. I also understand that costs for everything are moving up. So if inflation is at 9% or whatever it is, or 3%, between 3 and 9%, depending on what time period you're looking at, everybody's costs are going up. So the basic services that you need, your police, fire, ambulance, hospitals,
Thank you.
the schools. I'm sorry if I went over.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Interesting presentation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, that I believe that does conclude our public comment. I'd like to again thank all of our speakers for being here today. Your words are very important for us to hear. So we welcome them, and we hope that they do continue, because they are of great value to all of us. So now we have the fun time. We have ability to recognize some great work that is being done in our community. And I'd like to begin with the proclamation recognizing February 2025 as our National Black History Month. I will turn that over to who's doing the presentation? Yes. May I have a motion, please?
Thumbs will move.
Thank you. And a second.
Jackman.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And Ms. Bates is going to read our proclamation.
Ms. Mann, where's Julie? We have guests here today. Could they stand up here with me? Come on, Miss Lillian, you want to come up?
Miss Lillian is here, absolutely.
Come on, keep me company. Not if you don't want to. Hi. Okay. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Okay.
You look so
Hi,
beautiful.
thank you. Hi, I'm Arlissa Dockery, founder of Eco Development Center, community activist. This year, 2025, will be 20 years in the community, and I am honored to be here today in remembrance and recognition of Black History Month. And I do have a few more things I want to say, but I don't know if you want to. Okay.
I'll proclaim
Okay,
first.
okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Lillian. I'd like you to introduce yourself. If you- Or I will.
I shall say good morning and partially good afternoon. We're coming to lunch. My name is Lillian Perry. I have lived in Aurora for over 60 some odd years. I've been active, I would say most of those years, because I had a daughter during that time and they can keep you busy. I am now assisting in raising my great grandchildren. Back and forth to school is like, oh, this calendar is so full, keeping them busy. The little boy will go in every drawer, take out every pot and pan. So I thank you. And it's been great living in Aurora. I went to school in Aurora, so it's been great. And my children went to school in Aurora. My daughter graduated from Rosary, so it's been great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
We have one more lady.
Good morning, all. I'm Deborah Dillard. I'm a recovery specialist with Eco Development, and I'm very, very, very fond of this lady here. She's one that gave me opportunity to be where I am today. Thank you all.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I'll get on with the proclaiming, and then
Okay.
you can do looks like you have a little few words to say. Proclamation recognizing February 2025 as National Black History Month in Kane County. Whereas February is recognized as Black History Month, a time to celebrate the achievements, contributions, and cultural heritage of African Americans throughout our nation's history. And whereas Black History Month traces its origins to 1926 and the efforts of University of Chicago scholar Carter G. Woodson, whose dedication to recognizing the contributions of Black Americans led to its establishment as a month-long observance in 1976 by President Gerald Ford. And whereas Kane County is home to a diverse population of approximately 515,000 residents, with 6% identifying as Black, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And whereas Black History Month serves as a reminder of the significant roles of that African Americans have played in shaping our society, including advancements in civil rights, science, health, education, arts, politics, and businesses. And whereas this month provides an opportunity to reflect
on the past while striving to build a more inclusive and equitable future by promoting diversity, inclusion, and understanding within our communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kane County Board does hereby proclaim February 2025 as National Black History Month in Kane County, Illinois.
Thank you. Bless you all here today. Again, my name is Arlissa Dockery, native of Chicago, been here in Aurora for 32 years. I just want to say this is an honor. This is a pleasure to be here today. I am the founder of Echo Development Center, an advocate, proud leader in this region. It is my honor and privilege to be here today in celebration and remembrance of Black Americans. To Madam Chair, the council, to you all here today, it is a great esteemed honor, and to everyone that's here today. We celebrate all Black Americans who came before us, those who are still with us today. We celebrate lives and achievements of prominent Americans that help expand February to Black History Month. I have big shoes to continue to fill. I want to give you a little bit about me. In 2005, I was given the opportunity to serve at Jericho Circle, where we served 152 families. I'm sorry, 52 children, 100 families. And that area on the west side of Aurora, serving youth and individuals with disability. We left there in 2011, moved over in 2012. In 2015, I had the honor to work with Trinity Episcopal Church, where I was volunteering time serving youth and individuals with disability. So I want to give you that information. I met so many wonderful allies. And one of the wonderful allies that I met during that time in 2015, I think it was 2019, I met Madam Chair. We had started Echo Development Center in 2015. We didn't have any funds or anything like that. We were just moving, selling dinners, raising money with some of the parents. And Madam Chair, I met her and she recommended us for our first grant in 2020. So I like, give her a hand. We didn't have any funds. We were serving people in the 2nd Ward of Aurora. Started off with 2 children until 100 children at the basement of the Trinity Episcopal Church. So I want to say I am so grateful to be able to serve the community. We now serve 4 senior buildings, 100 students, and also the unsheltered. Partner with the Hazard House. We also have individuals that are not able to get into the Hazard House that we house now. We're working on a housing initiative. As we speak, we have a safe haven. We are a RCO and supportive service agency with the state of Illinois. So we came from grass. We came from the grassroots. When we say grassroots, we started off in the basement at the church. Come on. We started off at the basement in the church to where we are today because the obedience. We were obedient to what truly what God has blessed us with. And so it's great works throughout the county. We were able to meet with great partners. We were in Chicago for about 6 months and Ms. Deborah was with us. We were serving from Kane County to Cook County and Rush University found us. And so it was great. We was at a event and the young lady said, I heard you're Miss Dockery from Kane County and you over there serving people under the bridge, the homeless. She said, you don't even have funds. You raising serving dinners. She said, I want to meet with you. And so they brought us into the recovery. At that time, the state found us. Come on, somebody. We were working in the field. We have right now, doors are open there every morning, 9 o'clock to 1:30. We have the 20 individuals that are there today. They cheered me on as I was driving. We were driving here today, so they're there. They're doing workshops and things of that sort. So I just want to say the road has not been easy, but we have persevered. Our cause was a great cause. God has blessed me with a gift to implement awesome programs throughout this county. We serve through Kane County to Cook County, DuPage County. I am so excited of the things that God has allowed us to do, and to Ms. Perry, who has led me, Madam Chair, who believed in us, believed in the work that we do. We want to say this today: providing equal access to opportunities and resources to individuals who might otherwise be excluded and marginalized. We value and promote diversity and inclusion. So in ending my speech here today, I just want to say I am so glad that I have been able to serve in that capacity. Sometimes we get a little tired and wore out because we don't want to continue because of some of the roads we have to take. So I am so glad that I am a leader in the community. I will continue to lead. I will continue to serve our people, and I will continue to love on them. Thank you all so much today for honoring Black History Month.
Madam Chair, if I may, Ms. Alyssa, don't go away yet. I've known Alyssa for close to 30 years now. And, I've seen the work she does for the homeless. I mean, she's taking money out of her own pocket to feed people and house people. And I'm glad to see we were partnered up, like with Sheriff Hayne during COVID to house the homeless. But Ms. Dockery, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
And I know all the work you do in Aurora. And those of us from Aurora know who you are. And I vouch for her 100%. She's a good woman. God bless you. And I got another box for you too. So.
Thank you. Thank you. And they are waiting on those clothes.
Yes,
and he's speaking of, Alice gives so many clothes. A lot of times when our bus go pick up at the shelters or under the bridge, the individuals, our clients, are waiting sometimes just to come to the center. We're at the Wesley United Methodist Church now, or at 14 North May Street. We've been serving over there since 2022, since the state found us. So we have that big space, so they are able to come in and bathe a little bit, wash up, get clean clothes. They're there today with hot lunch. We have a young lady in the kitchen cooking. They're doing activities, and they're going to do a grief and loss trauma workshop today in some groups. So I'm just excited, and they're waiting on those clothes. Alice, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you guys
Don't
have
get long.
if you guys have clothes to donate, you can donate them, because we do have a free clothes closet. They come in and get clothes every
Bring them to me, I'll pick them up and drop them off for her.
Thank you all so
And before Miss Perry goes away, if you want some Black history, sit down with Miss Perry. She'll tell you about life in the segregated North and how Aurora was in 1960 when she first moved here. And I see Miss Eva Rogers back there. I think her and her husband were the first Black car dealership in Aurora. So on our Black History Month, thank you all ladies for the service. And these are women I grew up with. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you for those comments. Oftentimes we use the word, recognizing leaders of our community, but I'd like to really recognize that these ladies are queens. And a queen rules her kingdom with the gentility, understanding, and passion and courage. And these women amplify all of that. So they are truly the queens of Aurora. And thank you so much for being here and doing that honor. And with that, we need to take a roll call. So please take the vote to approve this proclamation.
Ellen? Arroyo?
Aye.
Bates?
Bates, yes.
Berman? Doherty?
Present.
Garcia? I'm sorry?
Present. I'm here.
Okay, are you voting aye or no?
Neither.
Okay, present, okay. Garcia?
Garcia, aye.
Gripe?
Yes.
Gums?
Yes.
Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Juby?
Juby, aye.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Linder, did you arrive? Molina?
Molina, yes.
Penesis?
Genesis, yes.
Roth?
Roth, yes.
Sanchez?
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman?
Strathman, yes.
Surgis? It's not here. Tarver?
Tarver, yes.
Tepe?
Tepe, yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
That passes.
Berman, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Berman, yes. All righty. Again, thank you, ladies, so much. And we look forward to working with you again. Don't be strangers, okay? If you need something, let us know. You have advocates here on the board. So the next one is something that impacts many of us. I'd like to recognize February 2025 as National Cancer Prevention Month in Kane County. And this is going to be read by our Chair of Public Health, Cheryl Strath. May I have a motion?
So moved, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Gripe, second.
Caius, second.
Mr. Pius, thank you. Ms. Strathman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. To recognize, this is a proclamation recognizing February 2025 as National Cancer Prevention Month in Kane County. Whereas February is recognized as National Cancer Prevention Month, providing an opportunity to raise awareness about cancer prevention and the importance of early detection. And whereas nearly 1.9 million people are diagnosed with cancer each year in the United States, according to the National Institutes of Health, with 30 to 50% of all cancer diagnoses linked to preventable causes. And whereas between 2017 and 2021, 2,585 cancer cases were diagnosed in Kane County, averaging 517 new cases per year. And whereas cancer has been one of the leading causes of death in Kane County since 2008, and in 2022, 1 in 4 residents were attributed to cancer. 1 in 4 resident deaths were attributed to cancer. The 5 most common types of cancer leading to death in 2022 were lung, pancreatic, breast, colorectal, and prostate cancers. And whereas routine cancer screenings are important for early detection, improving outcomes by enabling less extensive treatment, more treatment options, and higher survival rates. And whereas Kane County recognizes the outreach efforts of the Kane County Health Department and the contributions of regional cancer treatment centers and medical professionals who care for our family members, friends, and coworkers affected by cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kane County Board does hereby proclaim February 2025 as National Cancer Prevention Month in Kane County, Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And who is here to receive that award is Mr. Isaacson.
Mr. Isaacson is online. He's going to be making some comments, but if Ms. Strathman can hold on to the proclamation, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Isaacson?
Great. Good morning. Oh,
Mr. Isaacson, please, you have the floor.
great. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a very important proclamation today because, as Madam Chair said, all of us have someone in our lives that's been impacted by cancer, whether it's ourselves or a friend or a family member. As was stated in the proclamation, over half of cancers we can do something about to prevent them. So this includes, of course, being physically active and eating healthy and avoiding tobacco products and appropriately using sunscreen. We know all those preventive things to do, which are frequently easier said than done. But we are fortunate here in Kane County that we have great resources available to us, not only great forest preserves where people can be outside and be active, but we also have a great medical community that can really be there for people when they need assistance. And I think the early detection piece is something I really want to highlight this morning. Too often, and in my own life, I know people recently who have received a cancer diagnosis, and you don't want to hear that if only we had caught this 8 months ago or a year ago, the treatment would have looked much better, because we are very fortunate to live in a time with great medical advances where many cancers can be effectively treated. So I would really just encourage people to get their screenings, have a good relationship with your medical community so that you are getting yourself taken care of. And sometimes that may mean for the loved ones in your life, encouraging them to go and get those screenings too, because sometimes people don't like to. It's not always fun, but it literally could save your life. So I want to thank everyone for bringing attention to this important issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. My own sister passed away way too young from lung cancer. It was a tragic death for her. And the memory of that saddens me greatly. Preventable, obviously, from not smoking, but the addiction of cigarettes was strong with her. So, as I said, it touches all of us in one way or another, whether a distant relative or a direct relative. So I welcome this proclamation as an awareness. Please get checked. The opportunity for both men and women to have your annual examinations, an ounce of prevention, pound of cure. And make sure you try it as best as you can. We all have sins. God gives us choices to partake in all sorts of wonderful things that maybe not be the best for us, but do it at all in moderation, please, so that your families can stay healthy. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I think this is great. I'm a cancer survivor. My wife is a cancer survivor. But I want to connect a couple dots very quickly with our last speakers. The Black community is single-handedly, I think, responsible for Christianity being as strong and the belief in God being as strong as it is. I'm going to connect that dot with cancer because neither myself nor my wife would be alive today without the prayers, the answered prayers that we had. So thank you to our brothers and sisters in this community, and I love their recognition. And thank you for people that get cancer. I'd be glad to hand walk this to Michael, you know, and make sure he gets a good place for it. But thank you all for everybody that helps beat this stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing nothing else, clerk, we need to take the vote.
Okay, Ellen.
Aye.
Arroyo,
Yes. Yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Present.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
Right? Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Yes.
Chuby,
Juby, aye.
Dias, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Seppi,
Seppi, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young. That passes.
All righty. All right, we mentioned already an upcoming snowstorm, which is timely for our next proclamation. Kane County is now storm ready. Who's going to be presenting this proclamation? Scott, will you?
Yes, we don't have a proclamation per se, just a kind of a ceremony. And I just want to quickly introduce it. So as you may know, severe weather is kind of one of our primary agency functions, monitoring and getting warnings out there. It's kind of in our agency DNA. That's one of the major things that we do. This Storm Ready program is a certification by the National Weather Service. And back around 20 years ago or so, we were one of the first counties in Illinois to have that certification. And somewhere 10 years or more ago, that lapsed. So in the past year or so, my staff and volunteers put in a lot of work to regain that certification and get us to where we are today. I'll note that in 2024, we activated our Emergency Operations Center 25 times, and the majority of those were for weather. Many of those you never heard much about because there was a watch or something happened and we didn't have any big impact. Of course, as you know, go to the next slide, Blair. We have kind of a significant weather history, at least in the past few years. As you know, we had 10 tornadoes in 2024. And luckily, all of them were rather small and for the most part caused only minor damage, no injuries, no deaths. So we're thankful for that. But it's been a good opportunity for us to learn and figure out what holes do we have and where to get better. 2023, we had 2 tornadoes, probably still the worst of them in terms of impact to residents. And we're frequently impacted by other kinds of weather, notably possibly severe weather, winter weather tomorrow. So with that, I'd like to introduce Mike Bardou from the National Weather Service to talk about the requirements for the program and make the presentation. Next slide, Blair.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate the welcome. Scott, thank you for the introduction. My name is Mike Bardou. My title is Warning Coordination Meteorologist with the National Weather Service Chicago office, which happens to be in Romeoville. We serve 23 counties between Northwest Indiana and Northeast Illinois, population of about 10.5 million people. Everyone is our customer, as we say, as we serve the public, but we have very close partnerships with government agencies as part of our mandate to serve the areas that we're responsible for. So we work very closely with county folks and municipal folks as well to provide what we call decision support service when it comes to weather interpretation, weather expertise as they make their decisions related to public safety as it regards the weather. So the process that Scott and his team undertook to become recognized as storm ready is not a simple process. There's an application involved, and it ties into several key element areas. One of those is reception of information in terms of weather hazard information, weather forecast information, getting information back out, whether it's into the community at large or into other local government decision makers here at the county level or the municipal level, also being a conduit to the municipalities, having a documented hazardous weather plan as it pertains to any weather threat. And living in Illinois here, we certainly have all 4 seasons, as you all know, and your share of weather impacts, even in recent years, that have tested that plan. And so it also goes into public outreach. We want to build what we call a weather ready nation. That's a very community level effort. We build weather awareness, people checking the weather, knowing what threats they may encounter, having plans to deal with those threats, particularly severe thunderstorms, flooding, and tornadoes. Also, the more inconvenient, but perhaps sometimes dangerous situations such as winter weather, we want to educate the community as part of this effort as well. So the application process, it's reviewed through our office. It's also reviewed in partnership with state emergency management officials to go over all the documentation, the application, the plans, and also increase that network if it's needed. So there's great connections with Kane County Emergency Management at the local and state level. So those things are already in place. And a lot of times it's about evaluating something that all the boxes have been checked already, and they didn't necessarily need the storm ready tool to help them build that program. So it really becomes about the recognition. And at the Weather Service, the recognition of the effort that's been put in, the commitment that is going forward, because there is a renewal process. We revisit this every 4 years to make sure that requirements are still being met. That's all going to help build a weather ready nation. So on behalf of the Chicago National Weather Service and the National Weather Service as a whole, Madam Chair, county board members, Scott and your team, certainly. We've got a couple tokens of recognition. Let me grab one here. We have just a small certificate recognizing Kane County as being storm ready. And usually more of an interesting favorite for folks is a storm ready road sign, which will be able to get you here pretty soon.
Nice.
But this is a significant accomplishment. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead, Scott. This is a significant accomplishment in our eyes. It's an ongoing effort. We have a great partnership with Scott and his team. The reporting, the aftermath of severe weather, staying up ahead of it. We're just really fortunate to have these partnerships in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we get the actual sign, because they're on back order, so we don't get to keep this one, unfortunately. But my kind of idea was we want to post it at our headquarters somewhere where the public will see it. But then we've also worked out an arrangement with KDOT to get us some more signs so we can put them up on some of the major thoroughfares at the entrances to the county to proudly proclaim the Kane County storm ready. It's something we're really proud of, and we're happy to be here to receive this.
Congratulations, Scott. Why don't you come up with me? Yeah. You're in charge of environment here.
Yes, you did. Come on, you know.
We need another photo.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all.
We know who the class found.
Show my driveway.
Go ahead, though.
Oh, yeah. Scott was just,
All right, well, we have had a lot of wonderful proclamations and good news. Be careful, everybody. My impact of my arm was due to a snowstorm, so do be careful when you walk. Make sure you walk slowly, and they say walk like a penguin, so feet out, go slow, and make sure that watch out for black ice. The next presentation we have, because there was the board at our last meeting wanted to know a little bit more. Oh, yes.
Did we vote on that?
Should we vote on this? I don't
No need
believe
to.
so.
Okay.
It was
Just a
simply
presentation.
a recognition for the work well done. But there was some questions about why this particular company was chosen out of the 9 applicants. The board wanted to have more knowledge about them before you take this vote, which will be happening later on for the company to do the strategic plan. So I thought it'd be best at this time to do a little, invite them to do a presentation for you, so you can ask any questions that you might have, very brief. They're going to do a very quick presentation for you. And I'd like to invite, well, Ms. Hopkinson, why don't you introduce Barry Dunn and Company before we begin?
I believe we have Seth Hedstrom. He's a principal with Barry Dunn to give a brief presentation today.
Seth, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, could I believe we have a PowerPoint? Could you bring that up there? There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, okay, the floor is yours. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Seth Hedstrom. I'm principal with Barry Dunn. Thanks for the opportunity to be with you this morning. As you'll see on the agenda slide, my goal is to provide an informational presentation as you prepare for the resolution later in the agenda. Introduce you a little bit to Barry Dunn, a little more about our local government strategic planning experience, what to expect in the process, and then some benefits of the approach. So without further ado, a little more about Barry Dunn. Last year, actually, we celebrated our 50th year as a company. We've seen a lot of growth, and we now do a lot of different things. So nearly 1,000 employees strong, a full breadth of services ranging from tax and audit work to public sector consulting. And that's the focus area that I lead with our local government practice group. The point of note I would want to emphasize on this slide is with our local government practice group of about 100 consultants, we have expertise and specializations in nearly every area of local government, whether it be public safety, public health, or municipal finance, for example. And so we bring that expertise to projects just like this. With that, on the next slide, I really want to focus on our core service that is strategic planning expertise. This is a service that we've been focused on for a number of years now. We've completed dozens of strategic plans in the recent years all across the country. And while everyone's a little bit different, we have a core methodology that we bring to bear and really take a partnered approach in leading our clients through that. We understand some clients are working with us for their first strategic plan. Others do this every other year or on a frequent schedule. And so we calibrate the approach based upon that particular circumstance. What you're seeing here is a few particular clients we've worked with in your region. So we'll bring some regional perspective to a project like this, but also coupled with that national expertise, where we may have a challenge that you all are experiencing that we can share some perspective of how your peers near and far have overcome that challenge, for example. As we look through some of the past examples, we did want to emphasize that we understand you've got some unique challenges that we know about so far that we'll likely be able to help shed some light on, but also we have a lot to learn, and that'll be part of our methodology as we partner with you all through this process. And did want to note we have particular relevant experience with your neighboring DuPage County, and our resulting strategic plan did lead to the National Association of Counties EDGE Excellent Award. So we're proud of that. They certainly are too, and want to make mention of that here in terms of our core strategic planning experience. On the next slide, you have to bear with me as we boil down about 9-10 months worth of work onto just one slide, but wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor of what to expect in the process. So it's a 4-phase approach. We like structure to a project like this. It's important to have structure to make sure we get out what we intend. Starting with that first phase really focuses on the nuts and bolts of the project. So the project initiation and the ongoing management, really the output and what to expect is that thoughtful upfront planning. We need to know where we're going, and building that framework in early, make sure that we ultimately get there with a successful outcome. As we do that, we also make sure that we're building in the right amount of communications throughout the project. So communicating to you all, for example, how much communication, how often are you looking to receive? We'll consider those discussions and decision points early on as part of phase one so that we are meeting those expectations. From there, we move into phase two, and that's all about community engagement and the early strategic analysis. So it's very important as part of this process that we develop a deep understanding of where you're starting from. And that begins with no preconceived notions about your current state. So we're coming in to meet with your internal stakeholders, your external stakeholders, you all certainly in this process. And we have a number of tools and techniques to get there to have rich, meaningful engagement with internal stakeholders in the community as well. We'll use in-person meetings where appropriate. We'll do focus group sessions. We'll meet people where they are. If there's existing community groups we can attend, for example. And we do have some technology that can help survey certain communities where that's their preferred means of engagement as well. So really bring a tool set, if you will, to that engagement process. But again, really want to emphasize that we're going to come in and make sure that we're being holistic and comprehensive in who we engage with so that we're not giving disproportionate voice to one particular member of the community in that process. The output of phase two, though, is that we have a good comprehensive understanding, again, of where are we coming from, and we'll present that in a documented fashion for consensus before moving forward into phase three. As part of phase three, that's where really the fun starts to begin, where we start to collaborate with key leaders across the county to understand how do we bring improvement to the current state. Where have you already identified potential solutions to some of those challenges? And where can we bring potential solutions to some of those challenges? We want to be very aspirational in that, but also not losing sight of actionable recommendations as well. So it's an iterative process to try to find that right balance. And we do that with a high level of collaboration as well. It won't be successful if we simply put forth those recommendations. We do that with a lot of buy-in so that ultimately the final set, folks feel bought into that process. They know how we got there, and they know where their voice has been heard throughout that entire process. I do want to emphasize the budget integration aspect of the process. There's no point in doing a plan if we don't align it to the budget. So budget as well as human capital resources as well. And that'll be a focus area as part of phase three. At the end of phase three, we'll have our plan. The work is not yet done. Phase four is about the implementation planning. We want to make sure that the core team, those who will be implementing the plan, are equipped to do so. So we'll spend a few weeks giving that team the initial tools to get them on their way to be self-sufficient implementing the plan. That'll include things like dashboards, initial modeling tools, to make sure they're knowing that they're being successful in kicking off some of those initiatives. And that's the work that goes into phase four. All told, we're looking at between 9 and 10 months worth of work. Certainly that final project schedule will be calibrated as part of phase one, but that's what we're initially looking at here at this point in time. On the next slide, we wanted to highlight just a couple of benefits that we think you all would be interested in particular, and certainly there's more we could probably elaborate on, but really what is the benefit of the approach? We want to really make sure that we're focusing resources, and this is true of any strategic planning process. A strategic plan can serve as a North Star, if you will. Serves as a document and a process in particular that initiatives and projects and goals can align to so that we know that among many competing priorities, how those priorities will fit and allocate towards the ultimate vision in that plan. So focuses those resources on the vision and the plan itself. It'll also be a tool to make budget decisions, not the only tool. Certainly some decisions won't be always in alignment with strategic plan. There's other needs that need to be considered, but it's a tool into that process. It also can serve to monitor performance. How are we doing against the plan? Are we getting the outcomes of budget and resource decisions that we intended? Certainly want to make sure that we're doing that and being true to our taxpayers and citizens' expectations. The plan can help support that objective as well. And lastly, we always say these plans are meant to be living documents. It's not uncommon that soon after we finalize a plan, something new arises and we have to change. So it's meant to be a living document. We can course correct. Some of a cyclical process is the intention with a plan like this. So again, my intention here was to give you a very high level flavor of who we are, what to expect in the process, and the high level benefits of the approach. But certainly with that, happy to elaborate on anything else that would be of interest to the board.
Thank you, Seth. Are there any very quick questions to ask? Because we'll be talking about this at length when the resolution is brought forward. I see two. Yes, sir. Mr. Bright.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious, to our speaker, sorry, I forget his name. Seth, how far could you get in this process before we have a budget completed?
Great question. We get that question a lot, actually. Ideally, we would get through phase 2, that current state, understand the scope of the needs. But when we start into our third phase, which would be probably month 4, that's when we'd start to have a rough estimate of budget impact. So initial estimates around month 4, fully baked numbers, month 8.
Mr. Young, you had your hand up.
Hi, David Young. One of the public speakers was talking about, a lawsuit that was going on with your firm. Can you talk about that?
Certainly. Yeah, and I understand there was a summary statement that we provided that I believe you all received. And so given the circumstances, I can't elaborate too much beyond that. So I hope that was informative. But as summarized in that statement, a third-party vendor that one of our other practice group uses was the victim of a cyber incident. So those were the facts of the matter. And as soon as we were notified, we took all the proper precautions. But as cyber incidents go, soon thereafter, there was a class action lawsuit against the interested parties. And of course, we were wrapped up in that. Currently, there's a settlement, and we expect that all to be processed. And as a result of that noise, there was no disruption to any of operations. So those were the facts. And I think that was all in the statement you all should have received.
Yes, Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have several questions on this from this vendor. First, how do you define strategic? Is every second word is strategic or flexible strategic? What does that mean?
Good question. I'll try to answer that without using the word too often myself here. But that is a point that we actually talk about specifically early in the process. A strategic plan is meant to sit above operational plans that may exist without departments. A strategic plan is not meant to tell department leaders how to do their day-to-day work. That's a different document, that's a different purpose. So we're intending to be above those documents and plans and management tools, but instead look out across the county as an enterprise where we have consistent resource pools, consistent budget pools, and determine what is the enterprise's vision and how do we strategically align to that. So when you ask how do we define strategic, that's what we're talking about. What is the vision and how do we collectively as one entity align to that vision?
Yeah, I have a problem with this strategic approach. We are creation of the state, and the state defines what services are mandated from us. And here the gentleman is asking from our vision, we want to control our vision to whatever the services we have to provide. And that word is not there. The mandated services is what we should concentrate on. And I disagree with the approach.
All right. Well, thank you for your opinion, sir. I see no other hands up. Seth, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And for your PowerPoint and for the clarity about the lawsuit. That's welcome knowledge, I think, for all of us. And we'll see how the vote transpires on the discussion.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, when we do go through David Young, through that discussion, will he be available if we need to ask questions?
Kathleen? Okay, okay.
I'm just curious. Okay.
Good question, though. Good question. All right, we are now on to our consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull an item off of the consent agenda? Right side.
Yes, Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Iqbal.
The one 5-043.
Finance.
What?
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Iqbal? Is
That's
that
all
it?
I have.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else to the right? To the left? None? All right, may I have a motion and a second to approve all items except for number 25-043?
Gripe,
Leonard, so moves.
Gripe second.
Right, Gripe?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Ellen. Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Gordy,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
Gripe, yes.
Gums. Oops, not here. Iqbal,
Well, yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Yes, yes.
Leonard,
Us.
Lewis. Molina,
Molina, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Deppie, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes.
Okay, very good. All righty, so now
2543.
that is the end of our consent agenda. I believe we are now going into executive session, Mr. Frank.
We need one resolution too.
All right,
A lot of stuff goes on.
and I have a motion and a second then to discuss and potentially approve item number 25-043.
Molina moves.
I'm sorry.
Molina will move.
Thank you. Mr.
Sanchez, second.
Thank you. Mr. Iqbal, this is the one you pulled.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I oppose this resolution. This concerns OCR, our Office of Community Reinvestment. What they're asking for is a loan from the board. They have my understanding is they applied for grants. Those grants have been either been denied or delayed, and they're asking for board to give them $1 million so they can keep on continuing those programs. And what I see is we are in a different time right now. Probably in the past, the board has given them some loans and they have repaid, but these are different times. The world has shifted. Washington is not the same as it used to be. The agencies or the grantors that they were expecting will give them money may not even be there. The agencies may not be there. So the board should not take this risk and give them any money. If the grants dries, is delayed, it dies, so be it. We should not lend them any money.
Kathleen, can you explain, I believe this amount is now for 600,000, is that correct?
Yes, this is a renewal. The county throughout the years, as indicated in the executive summary, has taken similar resolutions before the board. We are renewing an existing, we're renewing a resolution that has been renewed before. The previous one was for 1.2 million. This one is for 600,000. So this is something that has always existed with not just OCR, but a variety of departments. But in speaking with the other departments, OCR is really the only department currently that continues to have programs where they have to spend money first and then request reimbursement. The workforce development program, which is number 480 on the list, that's OCR gets all of their money from the state on that program, and it's spend the money, then submit a packet and draw down the reimbursement. And there are circumstances where there are sometimes delays, and when we have a invoice to be paid, they don't have cash. That's just the background on the interfund loans that have existed over time.
Yes, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I'm definitely in support of approving this resolution, especially when we're talking about this is a reimbursement grant. You have to spend the money first. So obviously OCR doesn't have a large enough budget to provide those funds themselves, which they come to the county board for. There are a lot of different things that go into this. You can see in the resolution itself, the many programs that would be negatively impacted if we weren't to approve this money. One of them being the Elgin, City of Elgin Community Development Block Grant. So I would assume all representatives of Elgin would be in support of this and would not want to see that money stop coming. So I think this is really something that is probably more or less routine. We should do it. There's no good reason I can see not to, and I'll be definitely voting yes in favor of it.
Yes, sir.
Roth here. Kathy, you had mentioned this has been an ongoing practice. Do we know for how many years? 100 or 20 or?
If you look at the resolutions on that list, we started doing this, so I think it's 15, so at least as far back as 2015.
Okay.
We've been taking similar resolutions, and some of these previous resolutions were for the development department and some other offices. There were probably 3 other offices beside OCR that had this sort of interfund loan made available to them.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kathy, I just have a question for you on this. If in fact these grants are not approved or come through, how will we fund this?
Yeah, so we were working on this resolution before everything was happening in Washington, DC. So this is sort of a coincidence that some of these other questions, I think, are being raised that, will the program continue to exist? But if a program doesn't exist, then there wouldn't be a program. Is that your question?
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, we would have to reimburse these expenses and it wouldn't be reimbursed from a grant or a fund. We would have to take it out of our budget.
Correct.
To be correct. I believe the portal that was shut, which brought some concern. When I talked to Scott, it has opened and they're able to log on to it. So Washington DC did open up the portal so they can apply for their reimbursement for this grant money. So this current grant season, this current grant funding is available. That's the update that I did receive asking him. So this money should be reimbursed. Mr. Gripe again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have the honor of sitting on a number of not-for-profit boards and who live on grants, live and die on grants and not their money. And I think it's maybe not terribly responsible for us to encourage programs to continue that don't have the money. We should be in the position for the county. If taxes don't come in, we're going to have this discussion sometime this year, at least once. And I think the idea of setting up a loan, I look at it as a credit card, to say, hey, if you want some money, even if you don't ever get it, we'll float you. I don't think that's a good way to have people in the county, especially the taxpayers, represented well. It's my thought.
Is Mr. Berger online? Yes.
Garcia, just one question. I know that with all the things that are going right now in Washington with the loans and everything, and obviously we're kind of like, what's going to happen if we do the loan? Are we going to recuperate the money or not? Let's say this year goes well, get the money. Are we doing something for the following years, seeing all the things that are coming in? Are we thinking about how to restructure these programs, or how are we going to do it as a board members for the coming years?
Yes, I think we have an answer to that question.
So as the chair of the jobs committee, the WIOA committee comes and gives us the report every month. But they actually directly report to the state. the monies that they're looking for right now are things that we've already put people in programs. Could be truck driving school, it could be nursing school, all those kind of things. We've got people already working to get these degrees and things. And we don't get reimbursed until they fulfill that and we turn in. So these are already like things that are well in the works. And I don't believe that funding this year is at risk because it's already in that pool at the state. Next year, we would just stop the programs if the funding doesn't come. Because the way it works is they apply for the funding, we get it granted, then we start, telling people, come, we've got money. So if we don't have any money next year, we just won't be doing training for people. I mean, that's the sad thing of it. But it's nothing we can plan now, because we don't know. Does that make any sense?
If I may, Madam Chair, thank
This
you.
is your last comment.
Yes, thank you. So I'm curious if we don't approve this, things will still happen.
No.
No?
No.
If the money's already there?
Yeah.
No. If the money is currently there that they can get the reimbursement, yes. If the money is cut dry, these programs will dissolve.
So typically this is a problem when one of these programs needs to pay an invoice and the treasurer's office, when they pay bills, they're looking to see that that particular fund has cash. And if it doesn't have cash, they're looking to see that there's a resolution by the board authorizing a temporary loan of cash from the general fund to cover that bill. If there's not, then that bill would be held up until that fund has cash. That's the way that this has worked over the years.
And this program, I'm speaking about what Scott Berger shared with me. This program is 100% federally funded. So this is where this money is coming through. So it takes none of the county's general fund that I am aware of. It does support other counties as well. Certainly Kendall County, we are part of Kendall County, and what other county?
DeKalb.
And DeKalb. So it's our workforce training program, and we have offices in those other two counties as well that are staffed by Kane County employees under Scott's jurisdiction. If Scott, are you there? Not yet. All right. I hope I'm not misspeaking. If the money is not there, these individuals will be laid off, our staff, meaning that these services will no longer be provided by Kane County.
I just want to say this resolution, basically the loan would come from the general fund.
This fund, yes, but it is
Yes.
going to be reimbursed.
Right. So if one of those funds on that list, and there's a variety of programs, workforce is just everything under fund number 480. The rest of those are a lot of capital development type programs. So if one of those funds was short of cash, the general fund would loan cash to that fund until that fund had sufficient cash, and then the cash would be returned.
Yeah, Ms. Bates.
I will definitely be voting yes on this resolution. I see this as a cash flow problem. We're not broke. The money just hasn't come in yet. Federally funded, that used to be a solid promise, right? Now we're not always so sure, but I don't want to kill these programs based on a fear of something happening at the federal level that hasn't happened yet. These are very important programs. We're just taking it out of one pocket and putting it into the other for a while, and then we'll put it back into the other pocket. So I'm going to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've had enough discussion on this. Clerk, please take the roll.
Okay, this is on resolution 25-043. Berman,
Gary's got his
He's got his
hand
hand
up.
up.
Gary, Gary, I'm sorry, I did not see your
Or he
hand.
has a bad frog in his throat.
Or is it just your throat that you're clearing?
No, he's
He has his hand
he's
raised.
got his hand up.
You noticed,
Thank you. Thank you. I can't see the hand. Mr. Doherty, please speak.
yes. First of all, we are broke. We don't have the money. And if this doesn't get reimbursed, we're out 600 grand. Plain and simple. Now, I don't want people to get laid off, but I don't have the money to pay for this, and we don't have the money to pay for this. I'm sympathetic, but I'm sorry. We don't have the money. We cannot authorize 1.2 million, 600 million, or 600,000. I mean, we don't have the money, and we should not risk it. This is like co-signing a loan for a drug addict. We don't know what's going to happen, so we shouldn't authorize the money. We don't have it. We're broke.
Okay, thank you. I believe Scott Berger is online. Scott?
Yes, I am. Good
There you
morning.
go. Could you please add some clarification to this discussion?
The only clarification that I think I can add is that my office does have access to our various lines of credit through the online portals that we access those funds through. That access was interrupted briefly following the president's signature on an executive order 2 weeks ago, but has since been restored and is available to us. And we are accessing those funds as we need to so that we can cover our expenses.
And is that for all of the programs or is that just for workforce development, 480?
It's for all the programs. Our funding comes from primarily HUD, the Department of Labor, but also the Treasury Department.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Sure.
Ms. Gums.
Thank you. Just a comment here. This is all going through the court system right now. I will note that yesterday the judiciary ruled that the Trump administration was not in fact
Could you
following.
speak a little bit closer to your microphone?
Yesterday, the judiciary ruled in fact that the Trump administration was not in fact following the temporary restraining order that occurred yesterday. So they're mandating him to do these things. I have full confidence in the court that, we talked about what to anticipate. I think the courts are doing a fine job. I don't think we should get ahead of the game here. There's funding here.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right, last one.
Just to confirm, this money has already been approved by the federal government.
That's accurate.
So that's the thing we have to keep in mind here. It's going to go through the court system, the Supreme Court, whatever the case may be. This money has already been approved. We need to keep these programs going.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mr. Berger, thank you for being online and thank you for this good discussion. Clerk, call the roll.
I even have the resolution.
Okay. Ellen,
Alan, I.
Arroyo,
Girl, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman. Mr. Berman. Doherty,
Money's not approved. No.
okay. Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
Right, no.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, no.
Juby,
I.
Caius,
Nice, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, no.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, no.
Young.
No.
It passes, yep. It passes.
All right, it does pass
6 nays.
with 6 nays. All righty. All right, I think we're ready now to go into executive session, the next thing on our agenda. May I have a motion and a second to go into executive session to discuss settlement of claims? Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Mr. Tarver.
Right.
Roll.
Okay, Ellen.
Alan, I.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby,
I.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
yes.
Genesis,
Genesis here. Yes.
okay. Roth,
Whatever.
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Stratton,
Crafton, yes.
Carver,
Carver, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Williams, Young.
Yes.
That passes.
All right, we are now going into executive session. If everyone could leave, please, and make sure you take your coats, your belongings with you.
All right, everybody online that's joining us in the closed session, please accept your invites. Be aware we are live streaming. I will let you know when we're back together again and ready to get started. As a reminder too, if you are in the room and connected digitally, you must also join the digital session.
You're evil, Alan.
Sitting in front of you all day.
Oh, did you get it?
Now that he goes away, I'm going.
You get the drink?
No.
Oh, Deb brought these in, so I haven't tested the flavors yet.
Here you go. Maybe done before 1:30.
I have a whole bunch of people that haven't joined. There are some in the room and also an online person. We cannot go into closed session until everybody joins.
Watching her and every once in a while. Yeah, I see
Chris Bates, you need to join. Jarrett Sanchez, you need to join. We are waiting on you.
I joined. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is my problem. It is.
Is there anybody online currently hearing my voice that feels they should be in the closed session?
I like the dark chocolate, but I just ate this one and that was coconut and don't like.
I gotta give these to the back row.
Do
They got-
Thank you.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
I'm
Doing stuff from my next trip.
some of the
cookies.
maybe just don't want to say that. Are intentional.
I'll take a girl.
Bring them on Thursday.
Did you ever try to eat just one Dorito?
Cookies?
Oh.
All right, you are in open session.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in open session. Clerk, please call the roll.
Getting treats.
Roll call. Ellen, are you present? Are you present?
Right here.
Thank you. Bates?
Bates here.
Berman?
Bruins here.
Thank you. Doherty?
Over here.
Garcia here.
Right.
Right here.
Gums?
Here.
Iqbal present.
Juby?
Be here.
Caius?
Caius present.
Leonard?
Leonard here.
Lewis? Lewis here. Linder is out. Melina?
Molina present.
Genesis?
Penis here.
Roth?
Roth here.
Sanchez?
Sanchez present.
Strathman? Here. Surgis is out. Tarver? Tepe?
Debbie here.
Williams?
Sure.
And Young. Madam Chair, you got a quorum?
Very good. All right, may I have a vote on settlement, approval in case number 16WC 036939 in the amount of $34,408.48.
Caius move.
Mr. Caius.
Sanchez seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Please call the roll.
Okay. Ellen? Arroyo? He's gone. Bates?
Bates, yes.
Berman?
Berman, yes.
Doherty?
Or yes.
Garcia?
Garcia, yes.
Gripe? Gums?
Yes.
Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Juby?
Be I.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis?
Lewis, yes.
Melina?
Molina, yes.
Penesis?
Penis yes.
Roth?
Roth, yes.
Sanchez?
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman?
Yes.
Tarver? Pepe?
Debbie, yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
That passes.
All righty. Okay, we have one zoning petition and I will turn this over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Williams.
We have one matter for your consideration this morning. It's petition number 4651, petitioner to the State Bank of Geneva. The beneficial owner is Seaburn Homes. I understand there's perhaps a Ken Bernard on Zoom for the petitioner. Is he present? While we figure that out, the property is located at 36 West 995 Redgate Road in St. Charles Township. The requested relief is to rezone the property from E3 District Estate Residential to PUD or Planned Unit Development to allow the existing home to be used for a sales office. The 2040 plan identifies this side estate residential. There were no objectors and are no objectors in the room. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval with the stipulations that are set forth in your packet. The underlying request is simply to allow this property to be used as an office for a realty business and a development business. The petitioner does not feel that the property, which you've probably driven by on Randall Road, which is a single family home, will ever be sold for that purposes. So wishes to bring the property into compliance and zone it accordingly.
All right, are there any questions on the use of the home as a sales office? God bless you. Yes, Mr. Roth.
This is in Gripes District. Is there any problems with it? Thank you. I heard a no. Okay.
Ms. Juby?
So this is, been using this like this for a while. This is just changing it so that they're actually in code now.
Is that-
So they've already been doing this.
Yes, and in
This
fact,
is a
I mean,
ask permission.
the
ask
use is
forgiveness.
actually permitted under the E3 zoning to have correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but to have a sales office there. But the petitioner has come to realization that they're never going to sell this property, so they want to have it zoned properly to continue the use.
Mark, do you want to come up and explain? And on Redgate, is there an intersection? Where is it by?
Yeah, it's in your packet, but it's right in the corner of Redgate Road and Randall Road.
Oh, I know that house. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been operating some time. Yeah, they initially began that occupancy and use as a sales model home for showing potential customers to build houses elsewhere. And they don't ever see it being sold as a single family home.
Okay, so it's going to be maintained as their professional office then is what you're sharing with me.
That's correct, and will not intensify the use at all.
I
Okay,
think this is a good one. I mean, I think we can go ahead.
very good. Any other further questions on this property? I think it's one we're all familiar with. With hearing none, clerk call
I
the
think
roll.
we need a motion.
Oh, no, yeah,
Did we-
you have a motion and a
Ripe will move.
Ripe will move.
Roth was second.
Okay, thank you both. Thank you. And thank you for that.
Okay. Ellen,
Aye.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Yeah.
Garcia, yes.
Wright,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Oh, yes.
Juby,
Ruby, I.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Roth,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez,
Only
yes.
one the property.
Strathman.
Yes.
All right, Tarver, Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
passes.
All right, very good. All right, I'll turn this over to Mr. Williams again. He has a recommendation for a board appointment. Several of them. Or just one. The first one is for you.
I think you're referring to,
The Mill Creek?
I wasn't involved in that, so,
Okay.
Mark,
I mean, I'm happy to,
Rod, is
I'll
that
make the
Roger?
motion to
Motion.
approve.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Second, please.
Sanchez seconds.
All righty. We have an appointment for Mill Creek. Mr. Fonstock, are you here? Who's here to speak on that?
Roger's here.
Roger, you're online?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is
Okay.
Roger Fonstock for Mill Creek Special Service Area. There are 2 vacancies on the Mill Creek Special Service Area for the advisory body. This advisory body presents recommendations to the county board for the Mill Creek Special Service Area levy and for the budgeted expenses of the Mill Creek SSA. The Mill Creek SSA levy is approximately $1.1 million. And that money is used specifically for work within the SSA district in the Mill Creek neighborhoods for things like landscape. We do concrete pavement work. There's also a lot of mowing and snow removal. So the board and the advisory body are there to simply make recommendations for that. The new appointments are both residents, Daniel Risch and Thomas Giamanco, and I'm recommending their appointment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions about this appointment? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Ellen, Arroyo,
Oh, gosh.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty. Doherty.
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Doherty? Thank you. Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Wright,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Ruby, I.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tarver, Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Passes.
All right, very good. Thank you. The next one is for drainage sanitary district appointments. Mr. Wallen? Okay.
Microphone, please.
You gotta get close.
How about now?
Very good.
Okay, we'd like to recommend the following names. We'd like to note that these
Could
are
you
all,
get your name for the record?
Ann Wilford.
Thank you, Ann.
They're all reappointments and they're all farmers, and we've worked with all of them on drainage projects here at the county. So for Big Rock Drainage District number 2, we would like to recommend the reappointment of Cody O'Donnell. For Plato Rutland Drainage District, we'd like to recommend the reappointment of Rob Gerke. For the Rob Roy Drainage District, we'd like to recommend the reappointment of Scott Jessamine. For Sugar Grove Drainage District number 1, we'd like to recommend the reappointment of Jeff Bornman. And for Grand Prairie Sanitary District, we'd like to recommend the reappointment of Teresa Rooney.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions on these appointments? Hearing none. Did we do the motion?
Yeah, we do need a motion.
Leonard
Motion.
will move.
Thank you, sir.
Caius, second.
Thank you, Mr. Caius. Then clerk call the roll.
Okay. Ellen. Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Ripe, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby,
Aye.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tarver, Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Yeses.
Very good. Before we go on to our resolutions, again, I'd like to thank all of our community members who step up and volunteer to serve Kane County in their all unique capacities with all of our different committees. And their volunteerism is very welcomed and is a testimony to Kane County and their advocacy. So thank you all. All right, next item, Resolution 25-068. May I have a motion, please?
Caius would move.
Thank you, Mr. Caius.
Sanchez, seconds.
Thank you, sir. This was pulled off consent. Any comments on this? Seeing none. All right, clerk call the roll.
Ellen. Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Ripe, yes.
Gums,
No.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby,
Aye.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tarver, Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes 1 nay.
One nay. Very good. May I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve item number 25-069?
Bates moves.
Move second.
Genesis, second.
Thank you, Mr. Genesis. Discussion. Yes, Ms. Gums.
Madam Chair, Gums here. During public comment in the executive committee, there were some issues that were brought up about this. I did reach out and just want to identify that the strategic plan, I think in some folks' minds, is just to spend more or to create more. And that's not exactly true. So when we are talking about a strategic plan, the examples that I used to this constituent were, can we defer projects? Things that we have to consider as a board as being responsible with our money. So not only are we going to have this conversation about deferring, for example, do we need to repave every parking lot 3 years, or can we wait till 7 years? Do we need new vehicles every 2 years, or do we need them every 5 years? I mean, that's part of a strategic plan, something that we all discuss. But we can't, I personally cannot imagine this board or our directors having the ability to capture every single opportunity for, cutting something that we don't need. So I think that this is a good thing. And after speaking with that constituent and explaining myself, yes, it's a high cost for this, but I think the benefits will outweigh it in that strategic planning. Once we focus on not just creating, but also help us find where we can defer programs. And I think that's our obligation. So I'm going to support this. I just felt like I needed to discuss it because a lot of people don't think that when you have a strategic plan, it's also finding things that we can defer, which saves the county taxpayers money, which is part of our conversation in whole. So I will be supporting this, but I wanted to address that issue.
Thank you. Ms. Bates.
I would like to agree with Ms. Gums and put in my 2 cents worth, which is that I do think that a strategic plan can save money by preventing waste, keep us from going off in the wrong direction. I believe the word strategic has a lot to do with setting priorities. There's strategy, there's tactics, there's, in the dust, doing the work. And a strategy helps you set the priorities so you know what tactics to do later, to set forward. So it sets us in the right direction. We won't get off on the wrong direction, spending and wasting money on the wrong things. So I'm very much in favor of this.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I was like Dr. Iqbal said, strategic plan. You hear the strategic plan. Ultimately, we need a strategy right now more than ever. As far as moving forward with what's going to be happening at the federal government, saving money is going to be the key. Ultimately, right now, for the next 4 years, we're going to need to figure out a way to save money as best as possible without mortgaging the future. And that's what a strategic plan is planning for the future while being cost effective. And a strategic plan is going to help us do that. I mean, it's, you mentioned the penny wise, dollar foolish thing earlier. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. We can't be penny wise and pound foolish. We need to make sure that we're moving in the right direction while being cost effective. And this is going to help us do that.
Thank you, Mr. Penesis. Mr. Young.
David Young, right? That would be fine if the individual, Seth, I think was his name, said that the strategic plan is that we're going to save you money and we're going to focus on how we're going to save you money. But he didn't say any of that. He was just saying, we're just going to have a strategic plan and we're going to be strategic in implementing a strategic plan and we're going to be very strategic. And, I don't know. If he would have said, we're going to go after spending where we shouldn't be spending the money. We're going to be going after programs that are in excess. We're going to be cutting whatever, but he didn't say any of that. So I am not going to be voting for I'm going to be voting no for this because I did not see a plan that is in the best interest of the taxpayers. And the taxpayers want us to save money and they don't want us to keep on raising taxes. And plus I didn't see where he would actually help us with that. So I'll be voting no. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair Sanchez here. I don't think that it's the role of the vendor at this point to tell us what's supposed to be in the plan. That's kind of more the next level down. We're at the high level right now. We're determining, do we just want to go forward with having an organization that does have a strategic planning process in place and then operates in a strategic manner? What we do from there is up to us. Do we want to go after saving money? Of course we do. So that'll be incorporated somewhere in the plan. But the question really is, do we want to be an organization that is operating strategically? I don't think, especially at this scale, we should be operating without a strategic plan. So I'm completely in favor of this. But I do want us to kind of keep in mind what we're actually voting on. And it's not the details of the plan. It's the fact that we're actually transitioning into this type of organization.
All right, Mr. Gribe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Mr. Sanchez makes some really good points. I don't necessarily have anything. Actually, I like strategic plans, but they're 5 to 10 year plans. So we need to understand, first of all, this is not going to solve our problems in the short run, in the first year or two. But I do have a question, Madam Chair. You might know, will the strategic company, this planning company, report to us?
I'm sorry.
Will this consultant?
Very done.
Very done.
Yeah, will they report to us if approved?
Yes.
Okay, good. So just make sure the board's
agenda is going to be in charge of what they're looking at.
Excellent. Then I think we need to get to the cuts and I did have an opportunity to do a very shallow dive on some of the other plans they've done, and they didn't really get much into cost savings. So we need to be very specific for us.
Very good. Mr. Williams.
I guess my question is, what committee is going to have ownership of this? I'm reluctant to spend $160,000 for a plan that's going to get thrown in a file drawer and never implemented. That's where I am struggling with this vote right now. I'm sure a plan will be fine, but it's up to us to implement it. And if we don't implement it, it's a waste of money.
I would concur with that. I think we've all gone through strategic plans with our not-for-profits or perhaps our businesses that, oh, isn't it wonderful, lots of engagement, and then it puts on the shelf. It has to be a living, live document that is always referenced. And if it's not referenced, then it is a waste of not just money, but of everybody's time and effort. Kathleen, there was a question that was asked directly. Perhaps you can answer it. To what committee would this be reporting to?
As part of this entire process, they would set up a steering committee or whatever you would want to call it. And this product would be for the county board. And we had some preliminary questions with them when we interviewed them. You know, how do they do this? Do they report? Do they have, you know, subcommittees of the board? So, I mean, I think those things can be flushed out. But I mean, we are thinking that they would be reporting directly to the board and there would be subcommittees set up of some nature that we would figure out.
So when the plan is completed, would then it be directed to each one of the standing committees with their objectives and working with staff to have resolutions passed that would be guided by the strategic plan?
I think all of those options they're all options. They're all possible.
And would it have any impact upon our other elected officials or just the government?
We asked that question when we did the oral interviews, and they said that they can work both ways. They've worked with clients who they've incorporated the elected offices, and they've worked with other clients where the elected offices are not part of the project. And as part of the oral interviews that we did, we said we would leave that to when the project is started and figure out if, you know, which offices were going to participate or not participate.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I have two questions. Number one, who is the person or department that brought this resolution forward? And then secondly, as Mr. Williams asked, what department will this consultant report to?
So the budget for this project is in the county board office budget. That's where it was budgeted for this year. And maybe in the summer or late spring, we took a resolution to the board. I just happened to be the one facilitating the process here for the board to vote whether they wanted to do a strategic plan. And then once the board decided that they wanted to do a strategic plan, then we went out and put an RFP on the street and received 9 bids. And then this is the result of that, or proposals rather. This is the result of that process.
And Mr. Leonard also asked the next question. What committee will this report to? So you could talk maybe.
That would be up to the board, really. That would be up to the board. I mean, as a practical matter, myself and a member of the finance department have just been the hands-on people getting the proposals put together and questions facilitated and evaluations conducted, but that is up to the board.
Okay, very good. Ms. Gumbs?
Yeah, just on that point, one, I think that I was actually going to say that this is a county board decision, not any department director, no offense, but I think we can look back and say, what other strategic plans have we had and where did they report to? And then also when we're asking legal questions, I would like that to be directed to our ASAs because that's where we should be getting our legal answers from. So just, I noted that. But I think that outside of this, there shouldn't be subcommittees. We have committees to handle this. We've done it before. We're not recreating the wheel here, so.
I believe that the last one was done in 2017? Or was it done earlier in 2014?
Earlier than 2017.
It wasn't 2017.
So it was done.
It's been over 20
done
years.
much earlier then. And I believe many of those items have been completed, Kathleen?
I think it was 2007.
Oh, 2007. All right, so it has. been
What,
some-
which plan was that?
Same age as my
2040
Jeep.
plan?
No,
Or
No,
No.
separate from that.
what was
separate,
in 20?
not a land.
There was a
plan.
strategic plan done by the county back in '07. That was the
Icon.
last time.
Okay.
And that was under Karen McConaughey, when she was chair. So it was under that board.
Can we get a copy of that?
It's on the
Yes.
website.
Oh, yes.
Can you
it's-
send that to us via
yes,
email?
it's
I'd
a-
like to read.
It's available. It is absolutely available. Yes, sir.
Roth here. I've been involved with strategic plans at a couple corporations. And a lot of it is identifying processes, and we have lots of opportunity to improve our processes. You know, going out and meeting with a lot of the directors, a lot of the answers I get, it's the same answers I used to get at Sears, which was, we've always done it that way. And with technology, there's a huge opportunity for improving the process, which then generates savings. And I've seen it where it doesn't work and where it works. The big thing that where they don't work is where you get bogged down and you can't make a decision. So we got to definitely put stuff on the parking lot because we're going to identify maybe 1,000 possible improvement. We need to identify the quick hitters in the short term and the ones that will improve the process better. So it can work. And it's one of those things, you got to invest in the business to improve the business, and we need to invest in our processes here at the county.
So 18 years ago.
Madam Chair?
Hold on, Mr.
Thank
Griffin,
you,
this is your
thank you,
last
Madam Chair.
comment, please.
Real quick, I agree with everything Mr. Roth. I love strategic plans. They're all great, but I'm getting this feeling in my stomach because like, who's going to lead it? Who's going to control it? Not sure. Who's going to, put the priorities on it? Don't know. I think those are important things. Mr. Caius just brought up the old one. It was 2006. It's on our website. There's a lot we need to know, and to make this work, to make this money pay it for itself, which it could times 10, we need to answer some questions and fill in some blanks before we go, sure, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
All right, so 19 years ago, instead of 18 years ago. And the concern is if this is approved, we don't have from what I'm hearing, we don't have a committee formed at this point who's going to be taking care of that. So, and somewhat, I think we're talking about separate things. One is organizational and one is moving forward with the strategic plan to be able to talk about that. And then the organization of who's going to be managing that would come separately. And we did hear that there will be a steering committee that will be put forth if this plan, if you vote in favor of the strategic plan. The one thing also that I would really feel that would be wonderful to have is having the input from the community members, as they are going to go out and survey in great depth our community members, our taxpayers, to find out what programs and opportunities they would like to have from the county, which is why I brought up our other elected officials, since they serve many of our members of the community as well. But that's my perspective. So we have several other comments. Ms. Bates, this is your last time, please.
Okay, I believe that this should become an ad hoc committee. I think this is a lot like the ARPA committee need. This is a big deal. And I think those most interested should have a chance to form a new committee, not have it in finance, which we were all fighting over to get into, if I can say that, a few weeks ago. So I think that would be the best idea, to have a new committee, an ad hoc.
Okay, very good. Ms. Bates, last time?
Nope, not me.
I mean, Bates, I'm sorry, Ms. Gums.
The other
I
one.
just want to round out with, I'm glad we're having the conversation, but to Mr. Graves' point, I don't think we have time to waste here when it comes to the planning. I think that we have opportunities that we need to find to cut some spending. That's part of the plan, or it should be. That should be the direction of this board, is to find things we can defer. And you said tenfold. I couldn't agree with you more. It could save us a lot of money. So I wholeheartedly think that this has to happen now, because we don't have time to wait. And then I'll leave it at that.
Okay, very good. Mr. Caius.
In the 2006 strategic plan for Kane County, item I, led by the strategic plan steering committee.
Okay.
So there was a special committee formed to do that. It sounds like the logical thing to do. separate it out as an entity. So you have somebody, as Mr. Gripe says, that we can go to, that these are the responsible individuals that will be, and I'm sure among the 24, we can find people that are very capable. As a matter of fact, I know a couple of them.
I think there's one or two. All right, with no further discussion, I believe we are ready to take the vote. All right.
Okay. Excuse me, Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman. Mr. Berman,
Berman, yes.
thank you. Doherty,
No.
okay. Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
No.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, no.
Chuby,
Juby, no.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, no.
Lewis,
Lewis, no.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, no.
Young.
No.
That passes. 8
Pass.
nays.
Yes. All right, we have a strategic plan going forward. So Kathleen, you'll direct us with our next steps on this, please. Okay, thank you. May I have a motion, a second, to discuss and possibly approve item number 25-023? Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Gums, will-
Thank you, Mr. Tarver. Discussion? Is everybody ready to discuss this? Hearing, seeing no hands up. Clerk, call the roll.
Ellen, Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, no.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby,
Juby, aye.
Caius,
Point of information, this is for 069?
069.
Okay.
No.
No, no, no. Oh,
23.
023.
Okay.
248 of the county
Had a
college.
momentary lapse, excuse me. Yes.
Okay. Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young. That passes 1 nay.
Okay. Mr. Roth, I'll let you lead this one, please.
Okay. Let me bring it up here. Okay, resolution number 25-070. Expense voucher reimbursement for the amount of $86.63. And it's for Madam Chair.
Gums will move.
Strathman will second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, can we do roll call, please?
Ellen, Arroyo, Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes, Berman.
Thank you. Doherty,
I'm back.
I'm sorry?
I'm back.
Can't understand.
Come back to me.
Back.
Right. Garcia, Gripe,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal. It's not here. Juby,
Juby, aye.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
and it passes.
Roth, you skipped over me.
Because you're vice chair.
Okay,
So I'm just thinking as vice chair, can I do that?
okay, good enough. Just clarification. Thank you.
All right, that completes off consent. Is there any new and unfinished business to bring to the board? Before the committee updates, I would like to remind the board that on Thursday at 1 p.m., we are going to have a committee of the whole. It's going to be highly informative. It will be a little lengthy. There have been a number of wonderful presentations that are going to be brought forward by judicial public safety partners to discuss the great work that they do. And I would invite you all to attend. If you're not able to attend for whatever reason, make sure that you listen to it at your ability to do so. It's going to be a very, very good meeting
Point of order, Madam Chair.
in this room. Yes. Who?
Just, it was me. Quick thing, if you're here, you get chocolate. If you're not here, you don't.
Better than that, there'll be some mint cookies from the Girl Scouts.
Poison.
All right. Are there any committee updates? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Tepe here. Just very briefly, the Transportation Committee will be having a special presentation, one this month and two in March, aimed at really focusing on how road projects get selected and funded and how they get paid for. So it's kind of informative to go over that, particularly as budgets and things unfold. So that'll again be this month in February and then two different presentations in March.
Okay, thank you.
Not set yet.
Ms. Gomes.
Happy Valentine month. This is my favorite holiday of the year.
We could tell.
Yep.
There's love everywhere. And I know that we have a lot of our colleagues that are unwell or under the weather or not doing well, but you all have showed up and there is love everywhere. And I just want to thank you for being part of the family. Shush. And spread a little love because I think everybody needs it. So I love you all.
I want some of it.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loon. Because I like those. And if you get lonely and sad, go to Jewel or some place and put a lawn chair underneath all of the lovely balloons.
That comes directly from the legislative committee.
That is 100% true. Officially law now.
All righty.
Beatles song in there somewhere.
Is there anybody else who has a committee update? Yes, yes, sir.
Mine won't be so short. I forgot my red shoes. I'm sorry. This is from admin committee. IT and building management have been very busy. Just a quick update. We're working on it in IT. We're working on the telephone service contracts. We have, of course, in IT, our election support for both the primary and the general election that are coming up is very important. That takes a lot of time in IT, and a lot of our dedicated staff really work hard on that. And other things are in progress. Judicial Center Court Technology was just completed. That was ARPA funds that was paid for that. In building management, the list of completed projects that is coming right along now include batteries, new roof of the Juvenile Justice Center, a parking lot resurfacing, public defender's office renovation, sheriff's ADA ramp completed, Judicial Center campus lighting is completed, Judicial Center chillers are 60% done. You may have seen some of the pictures in our committees, those being monsters being lifted up there. And definitely needing replacement. 90% completion of the fire alarm system to bring it up to code in the Judicial Center for safety. And then, of course, you can go to our the website up now at Kane County, Illinois gov/capital. And we have a capital projects website is up and active. So if you are interested in finding out what capital projects we're working on and the pictures and where they are in the process of being completed, that is available to everyone, including us. So keep up in that. I know people were interested in the hiring in that department, and we've had some discussion of that in the past. We just hired a building maintenance director, Anthony Pasaglia, and he's to be the chief building engineer. Anthony has over 20 years of experience. It's a very good, it's a promotion, and he's a very good candidate. He's doing a good job. He's done a great job so far. We hired a maintenance tech 3, Grant Call, and we've interviewed 6 candidates for building management director position, both internal and external, and an offer letter was sent, just been sent out recently to the highly recommended candidate. And I think there's a couple other things about, there are a couple other filling positions, but that's
Very
it.
good.
Moving right along in building management and IT.
Thank you for that. Very good update. Wonderful. Anybody
I've got a
else?
couple.
All righty. Mr. Penesis, I'll put you in charge of the concluding our meeting, please.
What's that?
Motion.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn.
Roth was second.
All in favor?